As always, I am Brady, joined by my good friend and co-host Christian. Christian, it's been a little while. It's been about 2 weeks since our last podcast or something like that, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks, man. Yeah.
A lot of stuff has happened. We both recently just went to go see X-Men last night. There's been a lot of X-Men in the news. There's been a lot of things revolving around the X-Men that we'll talk about. Other things in the Marvel universe that we'll get to talk about, and we'll switch over to the DC side of things as we usually do. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's talk about X-Men: Days of Futures Past that just came out when Friday came out.
Oh, yep, last
Friday. Great, just awesome. I thought the whole concept was very cool. It wasn't what I expected. I thought somehow everybody else was going to be transported back in time in some way, shape, or form, but it was very cool to see that it was just a conscious setback in time, and how the story played out and everything. And it was, as we said last night, it was kind of a way to erase all the bad stuff that's happened, and they're on a clean slate now. You know,
exactly.
So it was very good. I was really impressed with the story, the creativity, like rewriting American history. That was genius. JFK's a mutant somehow. I don't know how that works out, but
the magic bullet.
He's in there, the magic bullet. It was just a great overall story, and you gotta applaud the creative team on this movie for coming up with such great ideas.
Yeah, Singer and Kinberg.
Yeah. Go ahead. Why don't you add your thoughts in there?
Well, I wrote the review for it last Friday, and I feel like this movie did a great job of taking everything that was great from Singer's first two X-Men and what was great from First Class and infusing those two things together.
Right.
And I really think that First Class reinvigorated the franchise as a whole. You know, I really like the main core cast members of that young cast with, McAvoy and Fassbender and Holt and Lawrence.
Right.
And when you combine that with Jackman's Wolverine, and then you have, McKellen's Magneto in the future and Stewart's Professor X, you just have a freaking awesome stellar cast.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And, one of the sequences that really stood out was Quicksilver's whole sequence. Evan Peters did a great job as him.
Did.
And we were highly critical of his costume on here.
Yes, we were.
But, we did the same thing as everyone else. We lined up his costume with Aaron Taylor Johnson's, and we're all just like, well, this one's obviously going to be better. It's Marvel Studios. But that turned out to be one of the coolest sequences in a film I've seen.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the best scenes of the movie.
Oh,
that whole Quicksilver scene where... Now, I did mean to ask you, was that part Professor X too, freezing?
No, he couldn't do anything. That was his powers.
Okay, so it was just all him.
Time is so slowed down, yeah.
Which was great. I thought he was... The only thing that I would have liked to see more was of him. I thought he was he was so cool as a character. It would have been cool to see him kind of join up with everybody.
Remember I openly complained on this podcast. I was like, they rewrote it for Quicksilver and they took out Juggernaut. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fuck me. I was wrong. I'll be the first to admit that whole Quicksilver sequence, it's funny. It's inventive. The super speed looks incredible.
Yeah, it does.
And the thing I love about it the most, obviously there's going to be spoilers, is that the last thing on his mind is getting those bullets out of the way. The first thing he does is he fucks with all those guys in that room before he gets those bullets. That's the last thing he does. He's just like, all right, I'll fix them. And
okay. Now let's resume normal time. Yeah, that was great. I thought the whole breaking Magneto scene, breaking him out of the Pentagon, was great.
Mm-hmm.
That's more Quicksilver. But it's not just him. It was like Wolverine and Professor X and everybody. And
they got Beast working.
Yep. It was just a great, that whole scene was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was
the whole Pentagon sequence was great, and I really thought the plastic guns was a pretty creative touch to the whole keep all the metal things away from Magneto, and I thought that was really like clever of them to do that.
Oh yeah, my favorite sequence of the entire film is that Paris Summers. Fuck me, Paris Summit sequence.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now that was supposed to be the moment in which Mystique kills Trask, and then thus starts. She gets captured, and then the Sentinels be able to, this and that.
Yep.
But I thought the whole sequence with Magneto willing to kill her to protect the mutants, you know, his intentions, they're always changing for what, and that's what makes Magneto such an interesting character,
Yeah.
And there's a classic moment where Mystique's getting tased, and we get classic Jen Lawrence face. If you see it again, looking right at James McAvoy, you'll know what I'm saying if you see it again. But my favorite part of that whole sequence is when Beast goes Beast, and it's Magneto versus Beast, and Beast beating the shit out of him.
That was very cool.
And you got that old school 60s cameras, kind of like seeing the whole thing go down out in front of people are in disarray. They're like, how do we protect ourselves? And then Fat Nose Nixon comes out of the woodwork later. And we need people to be fucking protected.
I thought the guy who actually did play Nixon was pretty good, straight on with his accent and his gestures and everything. But I mean, very minor compared to everyone else in this movie. Sorry, no offense to President Nixon. I'm sure he was a great president back in the day, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about you, President Obama or Nixon.
President Obama Nixon.
But you know what part I thought was very cool was the whole the Blink sequences. Scarlet Witch, Blink.
No, you just mean Blink. I mean Scarlet Witch wasn't in it.
Yeah, that's why I said Blink, and you looked at me like I had two heads, so I was like,
I didn't even look at you.
Yeah, but the Blink sequences where
the girl who plays her signed on for 5 movies, so I think you're going to see a lot of her in the future.
Oh, I'm excited because she was one of my favorite parts.
Especially in the future sequences with her and Warpath, and you got Bishop and Iceman and Kitty, and that was just a whole very interesting concept.
Kitty Pryde. Yeah, it was great, and the cast was great, and Peter Dinklage was, he's great and everything. But
I felt like his motivations were a little understated. But like I was looking at interviews with Singer and Kinberg and that kind of stuff, and trying to figure it out. And like he wanted Peter Dinklage because obviously he's a fan of Game of Thrones. Who the fuck isn't? And he said that he thought Dinklage as Trask is almost like his dwarfism is almost like his own mutancy, and that's one of his reasons that's a shameful thing on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's part of the whole motivation. I thought that was very interesting to read when you hear about that. Wasn't overtly stated in the film, but other than that, I really have no problems with this film. I made up some bullshit ones like No Dupe, but I fucking loved every part of this movie. We got to see James McAvoy as a younger Professor X, and we got to see Professor X in a situation and in a way that we've never seen him before.
Where he is kind of like struggling with himself.
Not kind of, he was fucking struggling.
Yeah, he was full out struggling, but he had like this inner turmoil for his power. And you kind of see him like struggling with it a lot, and then it gets worse and worse, and then finally...
Well, he lost so much so quickly.
Right.
He lost his legs, he lost Raven / Mystique, he lost friggin' most of his students to the Vietnam War, and he couldn't take the pain, right? And that was really interesting to see, the teacher become the student kind of thing, because we always see Patrick Stewart's Professor X on top of his game, you know what I mean?
His guiding words.
Yeah, exactly. He's guiding. He's the, he's the quarterback. Yeah. He's always got the the stuff down. But now to see Wolverine in that situation, who Wolverine has been like in his career and his life has had so many problems and needed guidance. Having him to be able to be the one to guide Professor X was really interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was that was very cool, and there's actually a good scene where that is a perfect example. The scene where he goes, look into my mind, like look at what is happening, like you're always the one who's teaching me, but let me teach you, like this is what's gonna happen, like you need to, get a hold of yourself almost and really reach down deep and be the person that I know you are. And I thought that was very cool.
They had a great message in the film too. You know what I mean? Even though someone stumbles,
you were saying that last night,
that you shouldn't give up on them, and that's always been some part of the X message. You know what I mean? The X-Men have always been an allusion to people have always said the civil rights movement, the gay activist movement, that kind of thing.
Right.
People that are cast aside because they're different.
Right.
But they always had those great things that shouldn't. That's the classic Stan Lee superhero thing. Right. Never give up on someone just because they stumble.
Right.
And that really came through in the entire script, and just I could not find it's just like with Captain America, I couldn't find complaints.
I couldn't.
I was clawing for complaints, and as people who read and watch this stuff, we love to complain.
We love these rants, but I can say that there's no rant.
No,
there's no rant for this movie.
Actually, I got one. I actually can pull one out of my ass. What is up with superhero movies and films and the idea of Superblood? Now, I actually think this was actually the best use of Superblood so far, and that was Mystique's blood has special properties that can help advance the Sentinel program. Right?
But we see that.
Yeah, right?
Which is cool.
But then you look at some of the other films, like Amazing Spider-Man 2, and they're just like, I need your blood, Peter! I need your super blood! He's like, I don't know what it will do. And that was a whole big thing, and that's how Harry turns bad. Or then you look at Man of Steel, and the codex is, we could get it out of his blood, we just need his blood. And then you look at Star Trek, which isn't really a comic movie, but it fits in the same genre.
There was a Star Trek reference in X-Men, so I guess it kind of.
Well, I mean, Patrick Stewart, Picard, but Khan, they're like, I derived this from Khan's blood in your life. That's a big thing. That's it keeps happening. It keeps coming up. Super blood is the new thing.
But I think that's
I feel like the fight in the next Man of Steel film is going to be over Superman's blood, like Batman and Lex Luthor fighting over a vial of his blood.
But isn't that what that culture is though? Everyone's obsessed with, I need this blood. Why does everybody need a blood transfusion? Do you guys really want a blood transfusion?
The Marvel Universe and DC Universe are full with people who need super blood.
You don't see people going after Batman for his blood. He's just a regular Joe. But he's not a regular Joe.
Super blood. Yeah, I guess it's just a common shred that could just happen in comics, but it's just kind of funny how it's.
I feel like it's a pretty good go-to. We need to create a superhero. Oh, let's give him fucked up blood.
Super blood, baby.
I don't know. But I do agree with you. There is this common need for.
I actually thought
for enhanced blood that I don't get.
I did really like the way they used this one. Mystique's blood would have certain properties that other blood doesn't have. Obviously, she's very unique within the universe.
The thing is, it didn't stop at blood. Yeah. He wanted
bone
marrow, brain tissue. He was going for the full.
We want to dissect all these
here,
Yeah, that was kind of fucked up.
He was like, I need more. This isn't enough. But I guess if they never changed it, they would have gotten everything, which is how they probably created it. So the Mystique was great. Lawrence was great. Mm-hmm.
I think I said it earlier, but Holt's Beast really has grown on me. I'm glad.
Yeah, you know what? He was really good.
Yeah,
a nice.
I wish he got a little more to do. I'm just been begging for complaints, but yeah.
But it's true though, because I had the same thing. I wish oh, you know what? I could say this. I could say this. I wish that they could have dropped in that well, they did, but people were like maybe complaining about it, about the whole oh, my mom used to date a guy who used to do that, and it was just like, I don't know.
Well, I understand you're talking Quicksilver here, not Beast.
No, we
Let's just state that explicitly.
Yeah.
So, like, the whole thing with, Quicksilver's dad being Magneto, I don't think that they didn't want to overly confuse people with a lot of stuff. Right. You know what I mean? They'll reference it. That's for fans. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what's going on. Everyone in the theater, we don't need a 5-minute explanation of Quicksilver.
Well, some people do, because, there's always going to be some people that will be like, well, he was an X-Men. How can he be an Avengers now, too? This is fucking bullshit.
See, I wanted to see Quicksilver. I want to see Quicksilver, if he comes back in the future, would be great as an addition to the Brotherhood of Mutants. That's cool. Where he's... that's where he started in most things. And I know he has been an Avenger, has become an Avenger. But, I mean, so is fucking Magneto, and he not an Avenger, but he's been part of the X-Men. He's kind of the good guys. That's what's up with these complicated villains in the X-Men universe. But, like, it'd be nice to see that people knew him, that he started there, and that he wasn't always just, oh, hey, he's an Avenger.
Right. But you know what Bryan Singer kind of did? He kind of created a whole, like, a whole new 52 kind of thing, but think of it as a new 52 version of the X-Men. Because of this movie, I feel like it's like
a new 52.
Not like
That's
a
new, what you want to call it.
Like everything's redone. They can do a lot more.
A soft reboot,
like you saw. We'll call it a soft reboot.
But no, the new timeline. I'm very excited when Wolverine wakes up. And, spoilers.
Silver streaks in his hair.
Yep, silver streaks in his hair. That's the big spoiler. Jean is there. Jean Grey.
Yep.
Cyclops is there. They dusted
my boy.
They dusted James Marsden's dirty dick off and got him in there.
Yep.
Kelsey Grammer's Beast was there.
Yep.
Colossus and Kitty Pryde were together in the classroom.
Rogue
was there with my boy Bobby Drake Iceman.
Storm.
Yep.
Was
Storm
there.
Was there. Yeah. But the big thing though is like Jean and Cyclops and they're all alive, so it is like a soft reboot in a way. And another story came out this week that those original cast members will also be in X-Men Apocalypse. It will mainly focus on the first class cast, so the Fassbenders, the McAvoys, what have you, but they'll be incorporated in there somehow. So I don't think we're done with time travel just yet, my
I don't
pal.
think so either. But that's good though, because that's actually a good segue. Let's talk a little bit about that cutscene. Or we don't have to talk about it, but I think we should mention it at least.
You know what I'd rather talk about first?
What's that?
Just to be a dick. I'd rather talk about at the very end of the film when it ends. We have Wolverine getting pulled out of the water with all the metal out of him, and we have Mystique posing as Stryker.
That's right.
Now, obviously, we see in the future that Wolverine, I'm going to assume, is still gone through the Weapon X program.
Mm-hmm.
Could you see maybe an attempt at the redemption of the Weapon X program story in maybe this next one? I don't know if they're going to waste time on that, though. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen it so many times before.
It's like...
like, we saw it in X2. We saw it in Origins. Origins was fucking terrible, but they put it in there. But, like, what do you think this Apocalypse storyline, where do you think it's going to be at? Do you think Wolverine will have... I'm Team Bone Claws, by the way. But do you think he'll have adamantium by the time this next one comes by? And do you think they'll fucking tell us what Mystique does with him here? Because obviously they have some kind of intention by putting her as Stryker there, right?
Yeah. I think it would make as like a good, maybe not the part of the main storyline, but if it was like a sub storyline or something like that, like, do they have those? Sub storylines.
Subplot, yes, they do.
So maybe not go the full 9 yards and do the whole Weapon X thing again, but maybe like do bits and pieces of it. Mm-hmm. So not like a all out thing, but like here you go. We'll toss you these, this, and that, and then that'll be it. So not spend too much time on it, but maybe put it in there.
So
somewhere.
X2 it.
Yeah,
that's really what they did in X2. I really don't feel like they need to touch upon it again, but the point at which they rebooted it, I don't know if they will. You know, like that where they left us in the 70s. You know, 73.
Right.
I also love that Fassbender got away. I mean,
I thought that
Magneto was
he's
great.
still out there running around.
Him bringing RFK Stadium over and putting it over the
That
White
was
House, and then ripping the center of the White House, the like safe room out, and then ripping it off. He is just so like imposing and.
Do you think that this movie really showed how powerful he really is?
I think everyone knows that Magneto is. I mean, even if you look at First Class, do you remember what he did at the end of the Cuban Missile Crisis there? Or
Yeah.
he just stopped every fucking missile with his hand. He is incredible, and like just look at what Ian McKellen's Magneto did in the future with the Sentinels there.
Yeah,
and, like he's incredible, man.
But I think like what I was saying, like, do you think it really showed how powerful he is? Was because, I mean, there was that scene where he took the rail tracks and embedded them in the Sentinels.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much took control over like a modern science creation, and it's just like no, these are mine now.
Yeah,
it's all mine. Like, I just thought that was the most mind-blowingly awesome thing that he could have done, and then obviously he drops the stadium, and it's like, okay, well, maybe that was the best thing, and then he rips the safe out. I'm like, all right, well, now he's just toying with me.
He brings the cameras on him. He gives his speech. You know what I mean? He's an inspiring motherfucker. I'd join up in Magneto's cause.
Cut scene at the end, or
no, just no, we can do it. Yeah.
All right, so cut scene. We see a hooded figure. This is obviously not our hooded figure, of course.
I don't think if anyone's listened at this point, no one has listened to the first one, and no one will remember who the hooded figure is.
True. We do have a hooded figure, though. I don't know where he is.
He's in Connecticut somewhere right now.
But
some coke.
But we see a cloaked.
There we go, cloaked figure.
Cloaked figure. Basically building the pyramids.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild. Now you said you got the name that they were chanting. What is it? The name that the people were chanting.
Well, they were chanting Apocalypse's ancient name and Sabu Nur.
Sabu Nur, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy is pretty much
ancient mutant.
This is ancient Egyptian. Like, this is like a total repeat back to the past, ancient Egyptian time. And this guy is building the pyramids. Then in the background, like, we see the Four Horsemen, which is definitely iconic to. Yep, definitely iconic to the apocalyptic story of the Bible. So we were talking about this last night. Do you think X-Men Apocalypse is going to try to almost rewrite, kind of like the biblical side of history?
Well, I mean, like, there's tons of apocalypse storylines in the comic books, and like, it's not really biblical. It is biblical in a sense. Like what we were talking about with U.S. rewrites history.
Mm-hmm.
You can rewrite history with mutancy. You know,
right.
Like what they talk about, the magic bullet that curved.
Right.
Like, you could say Magneto did that. The pyramids were built, and everyone's always like, how the fuck did they do that?
Right.
And we still don't know. You know, maybe fucking he put them together with his molecular mutancy. Who knows? That's one of the fun things about X-Men, and I feel like every other kind of hero group can't really do that. You know what I mean? But they can. So.
Now, I've seen a couple like stories online of just controversy of like, oh, the Four Horsemen was an Easter egg, like they're mutants, like that. Taking that story.
Why is that a controversy?
It's not controversy. I'm saying the controversy is what mutants will they be?
Oh, I don't know.
Which is the controversial topic.
It's not really controversial. I feel like that's the fun topic. It's the hot topic. Who knows who it's going to be? I mean, it'd be interesting to see maybe Channing Tatum's Gambit get introduced in that way.
Mm-hmm.
We do know he's coming in this next movie, along with a young Nightcrawler, which I'm excited as fuck about.
Very cool.
A young Cyclops, and a young Jean Grey, and a young Storm.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying those four are going to be the Four Horsemen. I mean, Gambit could be. Who wouldn't love to see Wolverine as one? I mean, we put Wolverine in everything else in all of them. We know Hugh Jackman's going to be in at least that and Wolverine 3.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's how he dies. Maybe.
Who knows?
Actually, that wouldn't make any sense if he's going to be in Wolverine 2. completely take that off the record. I didn't say that shit.
But yeah, it just I feel like it's lined up to do even bigger things. Like, okay, we did Days of Futures Past. Like, let's take it a step further with this one. You think?
Oh, you're saying, yeah, they're saying, like, this is going to be a full-on disaster.
Yeah.
Like,
well, not like a disaster in the sense, like...
No, not... They know what I'm saying.
No.
I'm not
I
saying
meant, like...
this movie's going to fucking
not like
suck.
a disaster movie
like,
I don't know, the natural disasters movie. We don't want to title it as a disaster movie.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I was trying to say.
I thought you meant like, this movie's just gonna suck.
It's gonna be a fucking disgrace. No. I was saying as, yeah, whatever.
You know what I wanted to comment on? Kinberg, who wrote the screenplay, he did a great job first and foremost. But he is in charge of like setting up Fox's kind of universe kind of thing. And I actually, after seeing this, I have a newfound interest and a newfound like kind of intensity for the forthcoming Fantastic Four movie. He wrote the screenplay for that as well.
That's right.
And I think Josh Trank's a really good director. So seeing that he has written a good screenplay now, Kinberg, and seeing that Trank is a guy I do respect, I'm actually kind of excited now for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it looks cool, and when you said that, and it kind of jogged my memory that he is writing the same thing, so it'd be a cool story.
And he's also writing Apocalypse, man. He's just fucking...
He's on the ball.
He's killing these things up.
All right, so go see it. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's great. Days of Futures Past. If you've seen it already, go see it again. Yeah, I might go see it again.
You should. I saw it a second time.
Christian said he picked up things he didn't notice last time, so it's definitely worth the price of admission. So now we've talked about X-Men. Let's move a little. We're gonna keep in Marvel. Let's just talk about the Daredevil series real quick.
Yeah.
Guy from Stardust and Boardwalk Empire, Charlie Cox, has been confirmed as cast as Daredevil. I wrote it. Don't really know much about the guy. I know you watch Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, he was good on that show. He played an Irishman. But like, he was a good actor. But like, everyone's like, don't see the classic Murdoch look. But like you said, give the guy a chance. We don't know.
Give him the benefit of the doubt. The kid's got nothing to lose.
When we like we always say, people, Marvel's never made a mistake in the history of the thing. But they. It's a TV series compared to like he's not going to be in a feature film, so a Netflix series. We'll see how he does. Hopefully, Stephen DeKnight, who's taking over for Drew Goddard, will do a good job writing, and then Cox will just have a good role. I mean, Murdoch's an interesting character,
and I mean, Netflix has been pretty good with their TV series that have come out.
Yeah,
I mean, they do a good job with everything. So. I'm excited for it. I gotta be honest. It's good to see Daredevil on the smaller screen, but a screen nonetheless.
Well, it's gonna be cool because you're gonna have 13 episodes as compared to a 2-hour movie. You're gonna have like a 13-hour.
Right.
And then you're gonna have it when he ties into the Defenders series later on. But what was interesting is that Drew Goddard stepped down. Literally the day after Edgar Wright. We'll talk about Edgar Wright later. Stepped down, but Drew Goddard stepped down to further work on Sinister Six. Yeah. That was the big reason behind that. So Steve DeKnight, who took over, he's actually great. Like, he did Spartacus, Blood and Sand. He was the showrunner on that. He was a consulting thing on Smallville. And he was on Buffy, Angel, all kinds of good shows. Yeah, so he's been around the block a few times, so he knows what he's doing. He knows the superhero game. And, if they come up with a fun catchphrase, like I said, like Jupiter's cock, I'm there. Yeah, I think this show's in good hands. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Like, Here's a question. Oh. Before we move ahead, you still love just fucking jumping ahead. Because, I always say this shit when we're not talking out here, how I despise, like, the big four networks, NBC, Fox, ABC, CBS. Right. This shit isn't going to be like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's not going to be on regular TV. It's going to be on Netflix. Do you think it'll have darker content and like more mature like things? Like, do you think like maybe there could be some sex scenes in Daredevil, or do you feel like maybe there could be like more swearing, more dark? They could. I don't feel like they're gonna go the Mark Waid route. I feel like they're gonna go Frank Miller Daredevil,
right?
And like I want it to be darker and more mature. And do you think they'll be swearing and saying Jupiter's cock?
Well, you actually raise a pretty good point. That's definitely an option, I think,
because they're on Netflix.
I think Netflix,
they're on Netflix.
Opens a lot of doors that like you're not on national TV. That's going straight to like the internet.
Yeah,
like you can do a lot for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't. I'm gonna be guilty and say I haven't watched House of Cards yet, but I'm assuming that it's pretty. It's like a pretty HBO-ish style.
It
TV
is,
show,
yeah,
right?
it is, yeah. So is Orange Is the New Black, which is on there too.
Yeah.
They're both very, there's stuff that you couldn't put on normal TV, which is what I love about that.
But so that could really open some doors for maybe Daredevil for once because it's going there.
You got Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones and the Defenders all going on there too. But
right.
I'm just posing the idea. I would like to see darker content and stuff.
I think it opens,
which would be great to see that part of the Marvel universe because we're always seeing the light. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm sick of the light. I want to see the dark.
Let's see the dark. Marvel's dark. They got dark things.
They got some dark. Let's not just say Marvel's dark. We'll say they've got dark.
They've got dark things.
There you go.
They've got dark things. Anyone who thinks Peter Parker's story is a happy one, they're wrong. It's a very dark story.
DC, you mean that emo shit? But
I think if you're looking to make a TV show about a superhero, I think you should keep your eye on this. I think you should keep an eye on this Daredevil series because you could be you know what? Maybe I don't sign that. That could be the deciding factor. Like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to sign with the CW. Maybe I don't want to sign with Fox or something like that. And you take a complete turn and go to Netflix. I mean, if HBO isn't offering you a contract, you go to Netflix and look, you're golden. Yeah, you can pretty much be creative as you want.
Yeah,
like as creative as you were writing for a HBO show or like Star, because Spartacus was on Star, wasn't it?
Yep, Stars.
Yeah,
Stars or Showtime or all those networks on. I don't really think Cinemax has any shows that are like
Strike Back.
But I mean, have you often heard people talk about Strike Back?
I talk about it.
I know you do. I've seen it. It's a good action. It's kind of like action porn.
Yeah, that's how.
Is that a pretty good description?
Oh yeah, it's a great description.
But like,
but who does love action?
But isn't that what Spartacus is too? Really?
Yeah.
I just would love to see darker content, more mature content in the Marvel universe. But the reason I don't think it's going to happen, I just posed the question to you so I could turn it down because, the big mouse upstairs is not going to allow it to happen because little kids put all the money in the seats for them, they think. And I'm just nervous that they're just going to make it, very kid-friendly like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't like fucking cartoonish in a way that's just like disgusting, but like, I mean, it's not like really cutting edge TV. Like there's none kind of like secret agent scenarios you've never seen before. The only good thing I really liked about like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was that they actually did incorporate when Hydra infiltrated, and they did mix the whole thing up, and that was probably the only like high point of their season.
Right.
But I really think the big mouse upstairs isn't going to allow for good, mature content to be produced from Marvel Studios. I just don't think they are.
Go out there and make me some goddamn money.
You don't fucking talk to me like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That is a good point. I blanked it and forgot that Disney owned Marvel.
Yeah. Never forget. Now that actually segues us into the next thing I want to talk about, which is Edgar Wright leaving Ant-Man.
We're on point today with the segues.
Now,
this is your thing.
Yeah.
So
now Edgar Wright is a filmmaker that I'm a big fan of. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. What's the last one he did? What's it called? The World's End.
Yeah. Yep.
He's been working on this project since like 2007, 2008, maybe 2006. Years. Like over 6 years.
Many moons.
This was before Disney bought Marvel. He was working on this fucking movie. And he announced that he's leaving. The cast is ready. They're ready. I think they're getting ready to film soon. Mm-hmm. But like, we found out later on that it was because either Kevin Feige or the Disney people or something didn't like his script with him and Joe Cornish, who he wrote it with, and gave it to two lower people to rewrite. And when he got the rewrite, it just was not what he wanted to do, not his vision. This guy's been working on this thing for 6 years, and he decided to leave because he didn't want to make this watered down film. Now, this isn't the first time a director, an actor, I mean, studios piss people off, but Marvel Studios has been pissing a lot of people off. Terrence Howard, Ed Norton, Natalie Portman didn't want to come back for Thor 2. He, what's his name, who played Red Skull there? Who's played literally every comic book character alive.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Hugo Weaving.
Yep.
Like, fantasy character, get Hugo Weaving. But, like, seriously, they piss people off there, and, it sucks to see that Edgar Wright's leaving the project after working so long on it. And do you think it's because, he makes those R-rated films, like, sure, right? Do you think he was trying to interject some, like, more mature themes, some more mature content, some more mature humor into this movie, and the big mouse upstairs with the fucking ears, Edgar!
Can I talk to you for a second?
We're gonna need a rewrite.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the reason. It's gotta be. Because he's been wearing, let's see, it's 2014, right? Is that what year we're in?
Yeah, it's over 6 years, dude.
Almost 7 years you're working on a script. That's like your kid.
And then the cast is all together.
That's like your 7-year-old baby right there.
Yeah.
And they just rip it from you and say, nope, this sucks. Time to rewrite it.
We're going to have some in-house guys rewrite it for you, Edgar.
Who was it, Goofy and Donald, that rewrote it? I mean, Jesus.
Like, what? You're going to have Paul Rudd in there, who's, like, known for raunchy comedy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, are they just nervous about that?
Is this Paul Rudd's first Disney movie, technically?
Yeah. You know what? I will say this. James Gunn, who's doing, he's known for kind of edgier films, who's directing Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like he's been able to interject some stuff into Guardians. From what I've seen, I haven't seen the fucking film, obviously. It's not like I'm like, well, I've seen the rough cut. I haven't seen anything.
But you know what? Like, Guardians of the Galaxy is only PG-13, right? Mm-hmm. So was Pirates of the Caribbean. That was PG-13, and that was like...
That's true.
I mean, you had some pretty,
Well, I mean, all the Marvel movies are PG-13. You gotta inject that violence in there.
No, I know, but, like, I feel like Disney just doesn't go that extra... Like, have you seen an R-rated Disney movie?
No.
An R-rated movie that Disney owns?
You won't see an R-rated movie for any superhero. Except maybe Deadpool. Maybe Deadpool. And the reason is because they don't want to limit their ticket sales to just 18 plus.
Right.
They want to get that 13 and, fucking 11, 12-year-olds get it there too.
Yeah.
And they want to be able to have adults bring kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
Adults are willing to bring kids to PG-13 movies. Mm-hmm. My parents might bring me to an R-rated movie when I was a kid, but not everyone's parents are going to be like, let's go fucking see, 22 Jump Street, So, like, the only superhero I could see having an R-rated movie is Deadpool, and I'd love that, by the way.
That would be awesome.
It would be great.
It would be great.
Please do that.
Yeah.
But if
you're listening, a word for the guy.
But, like, the more mature content is what I really believe is what Edgar Wright. That's why he's gone. What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I didn't really think of it that way until you kind of just said it. Like, okay, like, this guy has been working on it for 7 years. Why would he just up and leave and just, like, after a rewrite? Like, couldn't he rewrite the rewrite?
He rewrote it twice that I read.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he rewrote it twice trying to fit in what they wanted him to do. And then they gave it to 2 more people to rewrite, and then he got it back. And it's like, fuck this.
I don't get it. I mean, I guess that is the reason then, because they want to get rid of that, racier content in the Disney movie.
Did you say racist?
Content. I did.
What the hell?
Racier content.
You won't hear that in a Disney movie, my friends.
No, you might.
Oh, come here, you little...
You might.
Oh my god,
All
yeah,
right.
that's a word I don't often use, but...
So yeah, there's the Daredevil stuff, there's the Ant-Man stuff, there's the Netflix stuff.
You know what? Like, out of the whole, like, future of Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
the thing I am most excited for is this Daredevil show.
Yeah,
Because
I
of
think
the
so,
idea of a possibly darker content. And, we were talking about Charlie Cox and how we don't really know him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm fine with the lead not being known. But what's the thing I always stress about every fucking movie we always talk about?
Something about the villains.
The villains. I would love to see Bullseye
Mm-hmm.
get casted as a well-known actor. No, I haven't fucking decided who I would want to cast as Bullseye, but I would love to see Bullseye obviously be
In
on
this
the show.
Yeah, oh yeah, obviously.
Like, I would hope he is.
Right?
Or like, you know, do you think? Yeah, I think we've talked about the Kingpin before, but he could also be used in the Spidey universe.
Yeah, he's like everywhere.
I think
he's
Marvel
in
can
Punisher
use him too.
But
But
Punisher's
Marvel
awful.
can use him too, can't they?
Yeah,
Kevin Feige said, I wrote an article on it.
Yeah,
a
I
couple
think
months
they
ago.
could. Yeah.
Well, wait a second. That is the Daredevil series. Then what the fuck am I talking about?
I don't know. You're out of your mind.
Out of me.
You're out of your mind.
Oh, you got me all mixed up with the C word stuff.
I know. It didn't even mean to come out that way. It was just like I was trying to say content and I swallowed during the middle of the word and I only got that one piece out.
I swallowed.
Alright, so that's the Daredevil series. Now we're gonna let's switch gears
Yep.
to the DC universe. Tends to be our favorite thing to talk about here.
We love to splurge about DC.
So kind of the biggest thing that's come out of DC, you know what? I've noticed they've been kind of quiet on the DC end a little bit, just because a lot of things have kind of, you know, Arrow's ended and all this other stuff, and
well, Flash has had some previews.
Right. But I mean, other than that, this story,
we had the Batsuit reveal a few weeks ago.
I guess it hasn't been that quiet, but I mean,
I understand more quiet than Marvel, but you got to remember, dude. There's 3 movie studios with the rights to Marvel.
Oh, I know.
Content.
Oh, I'm very.
They're
well
all
aware.
putting movies out every year.
I'm very well.
And
aware.
DC has one studio that has put one movie out in its universe, and it's not another 2 years from now that we're gonna get another one. So
Right.
Sucks. It sucks.
Sucks.
Yes, it does suck. It sucks ass. And every day that grows, as much as I anticipate this film, every day it grows closer, the more nervous I get that it's gonna suck.
You know, you told me this the other day, and I thought it was the funniest thing. What is your biggest fear about this movie? Your personal biggest fear about this movie?
I don't remember what I said. What did I say?
You said that my biggest fear is I'm gonna die before this movie comes out, and I'm never gonna be able to see it.
That is your fear. I'm fucking scared that something's gonna happen. Like it's like, you know, people say, you know, some people have goals in life. Right. Like, they're like, I'd like to make money, have a wife and kids, you know, live at the 2-story house on the end of a cul-de-sac. My only goal in life is to be alive
when this thing happens.
May 6th, 2016, on your 25th birthday.
That's right.
And we go fucking see this movie.
In a rent-a-car. Because I can rent a car.
Finally.
But yeah, so the movie we are talking about
is now
titled Batman v Superman.
The
Dawn of Justice. I had a brain fart for a second.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. I don't blame you.
You know what? That's exactly what I was gonna say. Because you know who else said that?
Who?
Kevin Smith said the same thing. He said it's a
surprised.
mouthful.
It is a mouthful. There's a lot of words.
Batman v. All right, picture yourself going to the kiosk that day. Oh, I'd like one ticket, please, to Batman v Superman. The Justice one. Like your brain shuts off halfway through.
I don't understand the need for V instead of versus.
Yeah, why did they have the S in there?
I think at this point they have completely decided this isn't a Superman sequel and that this is something completely different because Batman's name is first.
Yeah.
Superman's just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Dawn of Justice makes it sound like, all right, you know, we're like. Think of the Justice League movie as a baby, right?
Right.
And Warner Brothers is a pregnant woman,
mm-hmm.
right? This is going to be the Dawn of Justice is when this baby is starting to fucking crown, all right? And then a year later,
I hope it's not that.
Warner Brothers is just gonna give birth to this Justice League film.
Yeah, you did say that in your article that it's kind of just like it's opening the door to the Justice League, which is, you know, very cool concept, as we've talked about many times, many times.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that title. It you know, if it was like, even if they just said like Superman 2, Man of Steel 2, like.
Well, see now, like I just said, I don't even know if it's Man of Steel sequel anymore. They're really
well,
not.
I think they're kind of banking on like, oh, we just want to let you know that this is the Man of Steel sequel, but why is Batman's name first?
See, it's almost like an.
Is it alphabetical order? Is that why?
I don't know. Superman versus Batman just doesn't sound right. But like, it doesn't seem like it's a sequel to Man of Steel anymore.
No.
And, you know, as we get... Well, they're shooting now, so I guess we're never going to be told if there is a second villain. But if we all had to guess who the second villain in the movie is, it has to be Callum Mulvey, right? The guy from 300.
Yeah.
Like, but I really wish they put two villains versus them. You know, not just Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg. Especially when you're going to see Ben, who is huge now, next to little Jesse.
Right. But, like, could they hide something like that? Like a second villain from the public for so long?
They did in The Dark Knight Rises.
So maybe they're doing it again.
They did it in, what's the other fucking one? They do it all the time. That's like the superhero boner jam. Everyone loves to hide the second villain.
I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe they're just hiding it from us. Maybe there is somebody there that we don't know about.
Who knows?
What is it? The like real? Wasn't it just test shooting, or is it actual real shooting?
No,
now?
They're shooting now.
Oh,
they're really shooting now.
All right, so this thing is on.
This thing is on.
Just gonna make sure you live till 2015 or whenever.
16. Jeez.
2015 would be great,
dude. It's still May, so it's still like
it's a little under 2 years.
23 months away. Yeah, 23 months away.
It's bullshit.
See, but that's what we're talking about when Marvel's producing so many films
right
at one time, and we're just
I would you rather? This question came to me like when we always talk about this movie and say how bad The Wait is, but would you rather just wait and like watch it and be like that was definitely worth the wait, or would you rather it rush and come out and be like I'd
rather have it wait. I'd rather wait. And I'm still nervous that it's giving you a shit sandwich, alright? It's not, and it's just the fear because Man of Steel, even though we voted it, gave it the KP last year, it was a weak year for comic book movies last year, by the way. This year's fucking great. Crazy good, but like, last year was really weak, and like, Superman, Man of Steel, if there's one after a year after the fact, I can say without a doubt that it was a bit disappointing. Yeah. The fighting was... And I do like Lawrence Fishburne.
He was good.
I always get negative on actors on here. Like last thing, I got angry at Tom Hiddleston for some reason. I really like Tom Hiddleston. I think he's a good actor and a good guy. I get angry at
Tom Hiddleston bloom. Where he's everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm angry. I'm not angry at him. I think he's great.
No, he was fantastic.
I just think that like the success and popularity of the character is just a little overblown.
Right.
You know.
Oh well, you can't win them all, I suppose. All right, so the very last thing that we just want to touch on real quick is just the Arrow Season 3 updates. As we all know, Arrow came to an end a couple weeks ago. Very good finale. We didn't really actually talk about the finale, did we? I think we may have talked about it briefly. Do you remember?
I think we talked about it a little bit. Not a lot, Baby Girl, just a little bit.
Yeah. So, as the finale ended, more reports came out. So let's talk about them a little bit. Why don't you go ahead and name the first one off? The big news of Season 3.
Oh, shit. What it was we were talking to... They were talking to some magazine, I think it was the Daily Beast, and it was Stephen Amell and Katie Cassidy, and they know who the big bad is for Season 3. They just don't seem to want to tell us who it is.
And we kind of went back and forth on who we think it was. Your boy, Brick.
I don't know if he's going to be the big bad.
Not the big bad,
I just like to see Brick because he continues the trend of metahumans being integrated within the storyline.
Right.
I would like to see more metahumans, and with the Flash show being on the same channel in the same universe,
definitely some crossovers too, right?
Yeah, like so. And then, yeah, who'd you say?
You know what? It's like escaping my brain right now. So I'm gonna have to.
I think you said Komodo.
I did say Komodo. That's right. Yeah. Just because I've been reading the Green Arrow arc comic right now, the Kill Machine, and he is a great character, and I would love to see them to kind of put him into this show because I think he would be very fitting.
Are you saying that you'd like to see an outsider war kind of thing?
Yeah.
Maybe how Jeff Lemire has adapted Diggle into the comic, you'd like them to adapt Jeff Lemire's work into their...
Yes.
You know.
Well, let's return the favor a little bit, you know?
Jesus, just blow them a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
take a reach around.
The second update was that Thea is going to be a badass because she's going to be training with Malcolm Merlyn, and then she is going to be back next season. Some people were like, is she gone forever or what? But no, she's going to be back. So do you think she's going to be going down like a dark path? Is she going to be like I think I wrote in there, I'm like, imagine a finale where you got Thea and the Dark Archer versus Ollie and Roy, his apprentice.
You know? Oh yeah, I absolutely think she's going down a dark path. Mm-hmm. No light can come out of that path.
I don't think Thea is a bad character.
I don't think she is either.
I don't blame her for being pissed off at her family, but like I don't know, teaming up with Malcolm Merlyn was the greatest idea for her. But I think for the show, it's a great idea. Yeah. It's really interesting.
Well,
but like
Christian, she's having what we like to call some daddy issues.
She's having some serious daddy issues.
Her one dad dies. One dad's a criminal.
Her mom gets murdered.
She's got nobody right now. Her brother lies to her apparently about apparently Ollie had something to do with the birth of her. But she's got no one right now. She's kind of looking out for a hand to grab, and she grabbed the Dark Archer's hand, and you know I'm pretty excited about that. That was one of the things that I kind of read, and I was just like, yes, like. Let her be a badass. Who cares?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where they take that storyline.
And then the last thing we're just gonna say is our girl who we love to hate.
Oh no, we love Katie. No,
we love her, but we do love hating on some of the things she does.
Yeah. They're saying that the last thing we saw with her was Sarah giving her the jacket.
Right.
So I think that we're gonna see the true Canary come out.
Break
the Canary out of her cage. We're going to see Laurel bust into the Arrow team. Maybe on the salmon ladder.
She wants to get on the salmon ladder. I saw in an interview she'd like to get up there sometime.
I don't know how they do that.
The
thing is insane.
Impossible. Yeah, so definitely some big stuff coming out for Arrow. Probably soon, right? I'm sure we'll get some reports coming out soon.
Oh, maybe, they have all summer. So,
yeah.
Maybe in August.
Right.
You gotta wait for those updates. Maybe.
Yeah. So unfortunately, there's just gonna be a lot of waiting around to do for all these reports.
You know what? We should talk about some new comics that just came out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cowl by Kyle Higgins
and
Alex Siegel, and it's drawn by Rob Rice. It came out yesterday from Image. And it is fantastic, dude. I'm telling you.
You read it?
Yep.
Nice.
Chicago Organized Workers League. It's about the first superhero labor union in the 60s. And it's based off of Kyle and Alec. I think it was their student film called The League in college.
Oh, very cool.
And, I swear, it's such a cinematic premise.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like this is, this could be adapted. I've only read one issue, and I'm like, this could be adapted.
Really?
It was fantastic.
Huh.
I'm really interested in see where it goes next. It's a very interesting premise and something I've never seen within superheroes before. It's so hard with superheroes that there's so many going on and so many times and so many storylines that so many things have been covered, but it's so hard to find new ground.
Right.
And this feels like new ground.
Well, that's awesome. That's it for this episode. We'll try to get back to you guys within the week. I don't know, it's kind of playing out as we're doing every kind of 2 weeks, just so we can get you guys a lot of information out there. As always, keep following the site, capedinformers.blogspot.com. Follow us on Twitter, caped at Sorry, at the caped_informers.
There's no the in there.
No, I didn't say that. I said at caped_informers.
What are you saying?
But that's it for us. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the like button. And we'll see you guys next time right here.